In a parliament session that was as theatric and explosive as any South Africa has seen in years, Democratic Alliance Federal Chair Helen Zille silenced ANC Secretary-General Mbalula during a speech, delivering a verbal evisceration that left him humiliated and reportedly unveiling secrets about the inner workings of the ANC on live television. The often combustible parliament chamber was left speechless by an impromptu exchange so intense that even veteran MPs caught their breath knowing they were witnessing something potentially historical. Mbalula had been deep in the heat of a passionate defense of the ANC seeking to sweep aside rising accusation of corruption scandals, failing municipalities, and a worsening national crisis. His speech, replete with his usual bravado, had started off as a classic response intended to rally ANC supporters and deride voices of opposition. But the situation quickly changed when Zille stood up. Her bearing was unruffled but firm, her face still cast with determination, and her tone sliced the room like a knife. He was famous for his flamboyant nature and his knack for deflecting criticism with jokes. Mbalula looked as if he was really taken aback. Zille cut in with incisive clarity, her words striking home. "Enough is enough," she asserted firmly. "You can stand here, Mr. Mbalula, and insult South Africans' intelligence by pretending the ANC has been a good force. The fact is your party has deliberately and systematically betrayed this country for decades." A ripple of gas swept the room. MPs stood transfixed, some exchanging uncomfortable glances, others leaning forward, aware that they were witnessing a defining moment in the political narrative of South Africa. Even opposition benches, normally vocal and aggressive, appeared momentarily subdued, enthralled by the acuity of Zille's words. What ensued was not political hyperbole, but systematic deconstruction of the ANC's credibility. Zille was not winging it. She had prepared. She brought out documents, quotes from previous ANC meetings, and citations of recent investigative reports. She accused internal ANC conversations of having admitted the abuse of public funds allocated for housing and service delivery, implying that even party members were aware of the corruption, but opted for silence over accountability. She charged the party in power with using state resources as a family piggy bank to enrich a few while regular South Africans suffered under grinding poverty, joblessness, and crumbling infrastructure. Zille pegged the ANC's failure on the day-to-day plight of citizens, blackouts that shut down businesses, crime waves that put families in fear in their own neighborhoods, hospitals that lacked necessities, and schools where children were learning under dripping roofs. The agony of millions, she claimed, is no accident. It is a direct consequence of ANC greed and complacency. Turning her complete focus once again to Mbalula, Zille attacked his personal integrity. She charged him with using flashy speeches and theatrics to hide from the rot in his own party. "This is not leadership," she said, her voice biting but contained. "This is betrayal, and the people of South Africa are watching you ruin their future in real time." Witnesses within the chamber reported Mbalula's response to be unusually subdued. The normally sharp-tongued and aggressive politician was shaken. His trademark smile disappeared, his posture stiffened, and for the first time in recent history, he was lost for words. On the ANC side of the benches, there were quickly spreading whispers. There were nervous glances exchanged among some members and others looked visibly uncomfortable, refusing to meet eyes as Zille's words rang out throughout the room. Beyond Parliament, the political earthquake had just commenced. Within minutes of the confrontation, clips were doing the rounds on social media platforms. On X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, hashtags such as #ZilleExposes, #Mbalula Shutdown, and #Parliament Showdown were trending countrywide. People were sharing and resharing footage of the moment along with commentaries that varied from admiration to amazement. Most South Africans commended Zille's bravery, indicating that she had put into words frustrations they had endured for years, but assumed no one in authority was willing to vent. Others marveled at Mbalula's gobsmacked silence and referred to it as an indicator that the ANC's previously intimidating defenses were finally breaking down. This was more than an address, opined political commentator Mbalula in a late-night news broadcast. It was a live national revelation of the failures of the ANC presented by someone with the political sophistication and gravitas to get it to stick. Zille did not merely strike a blow at Mbalula. She issued a warning to the party as a whole. While analysts were starting to analyze the implications, the timing of the confrontation was crucial. The ANC has been struggling with low public approval ratings, mounting discontent within the party, and a string of corruption charges that have soiled its previously admired reputation. Zille's destruction might further chip away at public confidence, particularly among those undecided voters who are already irate about continued load shedding, economic stagnation, and poor service delivery. Opposition parties pounced. The DA released a statement hailing Zille's uncompromising defense of the truth, while minor parties demanded tighter oversight of ANC finances and internal administration. Even some ANC veterans privately conceded off the record that the episode could not be explained away as mere drama. It was a moment of exposure. One veteran remarked that once the mask slips, it's very difficult to put back on. Experts indicated that the incident represented a larger change in South African politics. The ANC, once invulnerable and synonymous with liberation and government, now seems ever more exposed. The opposition, long disparaged as divided or powerless, is starting to smell blood. Zille's performance could make other opposition leaders feel more confident in taking more assertive, more public positions, wagering that an angry electorate is hungry for blunt truth instead of political courtesy. To average South Africans, the moment had a resonance that transcended politics. In suburbs and townships, citizens forwarded the clip, sometimes with captions indicating that finally someone had spoken for the people. It was a cultural reference point, an indicator that the days of automatic loyalty to the ruling party might be over. For some, it was a sign that the ANC could no longer count on its liberation heritage alone to protect it from criticism. This was not merely a personality conflict between Zille and Mbalula. It was a public exposure of the ANC's weaknesses. Once something like that is exposed, it can be so easily concealed. The chamber's stunned silence, the anxious whispers of ANC benches, and the unprecedented hesitation from Mbalula indicated that a boundary had been crossed, one that had the power to redraw the country's political map.